Trollbox podcast initiating in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Trollbox podcast, episode 8, with me, the CryptoDealer, and Grim Porpoise. How are you today?
Yo, that's right. You're back, man.
Yes.
Woo!
What's everything been like since I've been away?
It's been crazy, man. We've had some really great guests on. I can't wait to have one on with you on as well.
Yeah, well, hopefully maybe next week.
Yeah. We got a few people who want to do it. I recorded one yesterday as well, which will be coming out with Pio or Matt from the Dogecoin subreddit. Yeah, so we've been going strong.
Yeah, so yeah, be sure to check out the other upcoming episode then.
You know.
Um, so how's cryptocurrency been for you the last few weeks?
It's been pretty wild. I mean, Bitcoin, it's like about 1750 last I checked still, which it seems to like that range. It's kind of
18.
edging towards 18.
I think it depends on the exchange because
Yeah.
it's the other thing. The spreads massive ones like Bitfinex is 1820
Mm.
and Bitstamp's 1790 roughly right now.
Yeah, I usually kind of go off of Bitstamp myself. Um,
Yeah, I've been going off there as well because there's kind of that inflation because like all the money is pretty limited on Bitfinex right now.
mhm.
Uh, there's like a premium to like buy cryptocurrencies because that's the only way to get money off the exchange.
Right. Yeah,
So
that's
it's kind of it's probably not best to go off that price. Although I guess sometimes, especially like the spread at one point was over $100, and it was pretty cool to look at, because at that point it was like the only exchange that it broke its all-time high.
right.
But
Yeah.
now everyone's off. Even the Chinese exchanges have made all-time highs. So it's pretty weird to see the so before in yuan it was always like in four-digit range, but now we're at the point where it's a five-digit range, which is quite. There's exciting times ahead, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's it's fun, man. These
Yeah,
are
I've
the
had so much fun as well.
Yeah, these are the times when that we've all been looking forward to. Um, there's reason for excitement. You don't want to go overboard, but um, at the same time, it's good times. Yeah, I doubled up on Expanse a couple of weeks ago, or well, actually last week. I had made the comment on the podcast that it looked like a pretty good time to buy it around 70,000 satoshis, and I think it was a little less actually, and now it's gone as high as around 17,000, or
Yeah,
no, 170,000 actually.
yeah, it peaked there actually. So right now it's sitting around the 140k range, which literally only a month and a bit ago it was down at in the 20,000 sat
Yeah,
range.
they've
That's
done.
actually.
Oh yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
sorry.
Go
I was gonna
ahead.
say I've done well with them over time. I mean, even like about a year ago and stuff, they were making me money. So I always like to keep an eye.
Yeah, I was kind of dabbling with them around that point, but I sold at 50k. Um, so because I'd had my eye on it for ages, and then it's been a bit of a weird time for me because I've been making profits, but I've kind of underestimated how far alts were really going to go in the last few weeks.
Hmm.
Uh, like I really like, and I think that's probably how it's been so successful is because most people have sold, and the whales have just been able to pick up cheap coins and then pump the price up because they own most of the supply sort of thing. Because I don't know, could you ever imagine Ripple going into the kind of five Satoshi?
That was the I couldn't imagine it. I mentioned that last week. Like I never thought I would see like a 10,000 Satoshi Ripple, and I'm utterly afraid to try to buy it at any point because it's it's due to go down. It's too juicy.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You can't, most people would say, it has to go down, but what if it doesn't? What if that was just
Yeah,
natural and banks were just wanting to buy supply?
yeah.
So
And then they
yeah,
burn the extra supply that they have.
yeah, well,
Right?
that was a pretty big
Yeah.
development because there's always that. It's the same with Stellar. There's that uncertainty of when are they going to release all these funds into the market because even at the when the price was like 1,000 satoshis, if you released all that into the wild, it'd struggle to keep the same Bitcoin value.
Right.
So now it's kind of like well, they don't have as much anymore, so it's okay. And that's probably the reason why people have taken advantage of it and pumped it so high recently.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely definitely one of the reasons probably. Um, it's you know what's kind of overinflated right now too.
What?
Um, my beloved bit crystals. I had to sell them. I was like, there's for what you can do with them in the game, like what you
Hmm.
get out of it, which is like a rare or better card, which it's not worth what the coin's worth, and you need 20. You need 20 to buy a rare,
Oh, really?
and you get them free, like from the free to play aspects too.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, I need this coin to go down before I start like using it. But I've been playing. I've been playing some Spells of Genesis.
Oh, how are you finding it? Whereabouts are you in the game right now?
I think I'm like about mm, midway through. It's possible that it's kind of hard to tell, really.
Yeah.
Um, I
Well,
don't know the whole map of the game. You could probably look it up though. I should do that.
yeah. If there's any other Spells of Genesis players out there, they should let us know where they're at.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, show us your team or something. Screenshot it and like send us it on Twitter or something.
We could even get a fuse on, and have a bit of a Spells of Genesis off.
Yeah, right. Oh man.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Interestingly, back to the price of bit crystals. I think it's likely to stay in this range for a while because the economics of the game is that people are going to be selling, no, people are going to be buying the coins to take part in the game, but
Yeah.
also the developers have to sell the coins, so it kind of cancels it out. You could say because there's a large user base, you'd assume the price will go up, but actually the developers need to make money not in bit crystals, because
Yeah.
you know they've already got a bit of a reserve because they have to be able to distribute to all the players. I think unless there's an actual like a team or like control most of the supply and they're ready to pump it, it's probably going to stay in this range and potentially even like go down. Um, I think the only way it could like legitimately grow in value is if there was like a really large influx of players, and where everyone was wanting to take part, and where they didn't really take into account the demand, and then they don't sell their coins for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really it's kind of tough though, man, because you want people to use them in the game, but the value is a little bit too heavy for them to really want to spend it on what you get out of it. It's just it's kind of like a catch-22 because you want the coin to do well, you want the game
Yeah,
to do well,
I
but
think with a lot of the game currencies is that the real pumps are in the speculation of launch, and then after that, generally they're pretty quiet
yeah. Do you
because there's
know?
not.
Oh,
Sorry,
sorry.
go.
I was gonna
Just
ask if you knew if Coin 2 ever got their 2.0. Did they ever get their game off the ground.
I remember seeing a while ago, the one of the the main developers had like passed away. It's actually kind of similar
Oh
to
no,
the Nautilus thing that happened this week. I don't know if you've seen
I didn't.
they, they paused development because one of the development members had passed away.
That's
Um,
sad.
yeah, but at the same time, it was a bit of an odd one. Because the price jumped up like nearly doubled in a day, and then like crashed past like all the lows. So I think it kind of suggests maybe people were, people who were like close like you and kind of got an exit strategy. But there was plenty of opportunity there to take a few profits or pick up cheap coins because
Yeah.
the price crashed to like about I think it was like 9,000 satoshis, which is
Wow.
the lowest it's been in the last like 2 months or so. So
Oh, that's a shame.
yeah, I know we're kind of at that point with cryptocurrency where you know it's been around over 10 years. There's going to be people who are involved that pass away, which
Yeah.
is kind of strange. It's kind of like with Facebook and how there's like slowly like an increasing amount of like dead people with like Facebook profiles. It's kind of like that. Like
They have coins.
yeah. So yeah, it's a bit weird to think we're at that point where cryptocurrencies are becoming a lifetime thing.
Yeah. Yeah. It, it definitely does, impact your life if you're into them.
Yeah, 100%. I'm
Yeah.
always in prices. Like I have like tickers on my phone, and I'll check for prices rather than messages. So
Yeah. Same. Yeah, like if I'm just outside and I take out my phone first, I'll type in Poloniex or something, and then I'll go to Bitstamp or.
we should have a wee section on like mobile trading because
Mm.
I've got a few interesting techniques. And also I imagine you do after being in the game for a few years.
Actually, I don't really trade on mobile.
Oh really? Hmm.
No, if you could enlighten me, I would like to figure that out a
Well,
bit.
I've done it, but I don't like it. I feel like I don't have all the information in front of me, even
Ah,
though it's just because like the screen's small.
mm-hmm.
Like I
Yeah,
feel just a bit like you can't lay your thoughts out and stuff.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, when I'm bearing down and trading, I like to have multiple windows up. I'm reading things about the coin, the different coins, and
mhm.
having resources to quickly look something up before you place your buy or sell even.
Yeah, yeah. Normally the only reason I'll ever trade on mobile is if there's like a big action move, either like a
Hmm.
dump, and I'm kind of like I need to do some stuff here, or there's a pump, and I think it doesn't really look like it'll be able to sustain this because we've had loads of like really like small flash pumps, and
Yeah.
I feel it's it's tricky. You know, I'm kind of I think because we've been training for a while now, you kind of know that we're not on hopium. There's going to be a point where the price is probably going to completely retrace. So I'm very much into taking like even 20% profit these days.
Yeah.
That there's a lot of other people looking and saying 20% profit. If you're like a stock trader, on average you make 6% a year.
Yeah.
If you make
Exactly.
20% on trades, there's a lot of people who are incredibly grateful for that. They'll be like, "That's a very good day." That's a
Hmm.
20% increase in portfolio.
Yeah.
Although I guess you should really be putting all your bitcoins into one trade, but so probably realistically in your portfolio it's maybe only like a 4 or 5% increase, but at the same time, profit's profit, and
Yeah.
there's always like, especially we've seen it in this run, before kind of the main pumps happened, it was just one coin gets pumped, and then the people who sell say what coin hasn't pumped yet, and they'll buy into that one, and then the price goes up and they sell. I think I managed to triple my bitcoins actually on my like altcoin trading account, just
Wow.
by in and out for like 10-20% profit.
Hmm.
But at that point, well, see, I kind of, I'm not sure what your trading strategy is, but for me, recently it's became focus on three coins and have 5 to 10 bitcoins worth in your position,
Hmm.
uh, because generally we're at the point where markets can support that sort of buying and also
Yeah.
support that sort of selling. Um, so yeah, because we're at the point, well, it kind of leads us on to our next thing of, that cryptocurrencies in general reached the 50 billion market cap point, which is pretty mad considering we were at 15 billion overall a few months ago. That's
Right.
like a 3x in overall value, which, is that natural growth or is that um, just people pumping?
I think we've reached a point where there's a lot of new money kind of coming in,
Yeah.
whether it be Bitcoin, and then people are seeing the cheaper alts, and now that they have Bitcoin that's worth more, they can kind of spread it around a bit more and get more for their Bitcoin, and then that drives the price up. It could crash. I don't really see it happening because now Russia's talking about using more Bitcoin. China, I think they are allowing direct withdrawals to bank accounts now. I
Oh,
think I
really?
saw something about that, yeah, or they're talking about it, but you know how China is. They're always hot
Yeah.
and cold on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Probably
I
more
know.
manipulation tactics than anything, but
Well, yeah, that's the thing because people kind of speculate that happens because I think actually bitcoins have been legal in their legislation for over a year and a bit now. So
yeah,
it's definitely, there are definitely people, spreading fake news or, or maybe have interest in seeing the price pump or dump as much, you know. I think back to the overall market cap, we shot up literally within 2 weeks from just under 30 to 55. So
hmm,
I feel like there's going to be some sort of retrace potentially at some point. But then maybe Japan's adopted Bitcoin. They have like them in South Korea have like some of the highest like trading volumes
yeah,
Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies now. One to know actually, there's Ethereum Classic.
mhm,
Like a lot of like Korean exchanges have like been trading like crazy volumes, and I think there's actually like premiums on the price for some altcoins on their exchanges now
huh,
because like the demand's kind of out like out outlasting the supply.
wow,
So yes, there's some really crazy things happening. Yeah, I think the US and Europe don't have too much of like a premium on the value of Bitcoin to like trade it or buy it, but it's really I think it shows how much interest and potential people see in it if they're willing to pay like like $50 more than it's actually worth to
yeah,
just get up with it, and that's like I think that's the thing. Newcomers don't really like they don't really understand the risks. I think you'll get some who see that because typically families and stuff would buy stocks and say oh, it'll be worth like a lot when I'm like 20-30 years down the line and I can enjoy it for like retirement.
yeah,
And I think maybe there's some people coming in to cryptocurrency with that sort of idea, and they might be disappointed short term because things can get extremely violent. Even at like a 50 billion overall market cap, there's going to be some rocky moves. Where they just shake people out completely. But I think we're still on the rise here. I think we're on that kind of point where people are starting to believe that Bitcoin can go for like a huge pump because we've not really actually gone parabolic yet. If you look at the charts, there's no signs of any tops, and this kind of 1700 to 1800 range could just be a consolidation point.
Yeah, it's a stop. It's a road stop on like on the way to wherever it may go. No, I really think that it's going to hit 2000 soon. It may have somewhere on some exchange already, but
Oh,
um,
like just some
like across the
strange,
board, I
yeah.
feel like I feel like it's going to hit 2000 soon.
Well, I think $3,600. I think that's a fair
Hmm.
price. And although I think I'd be very surprised if in the next year Bitcoin went over $5,000.
I would
Um,
probably cry.
well, at that point, it's crazy money. Especially people who've
Yeah,
been trading Bitcoin when it was worth $200.
I need
You
to
know,
bear down and get a couple more.
yeah, I know. Well, I think that's kind of what everyone's looking for now, and
Yeah,
but then that kind of creates a FOMO because people are kind of worried about, maybe it might never go down, but like obviously at some point it will, but I don't think we're at that point where it's gonna look to retrace for now.
yeah,
Um, yeah, it just looks like a consolidation and a continuation because we're making um lower lows, no, higher lows and higher highs right now.
yeah,
Um, yeah, so even when there was like the last few days there was a big crash into like the 1500s and bounced back pretty quick, which is a good
yeah.
sign.
Just weak hands.
Yeah,
Or just
exactly.
trying to grab some real world profit. I mean, you gotta, I mean, depending on when you bought your coins, there's gonna be a point where it's like, regardless of where you take it out, you're gonna be doing pretty good.
Yeah, you've kind of got like two kind of trains of thought here. You've got people who have put in like a pretty hefty lump sum to begin with,
Yeah.
and they're happy probably with the 2 or 3x,
Hmm.
But there's people who've maybe bought like $500 and are hoping to see that reach like 20,000 or something,
Right.
you know, and they're the ones who'll probably hold through the thick and thin. Um, yeah, I know because I think if you're kind of hoping for it to be the lottery, you're not going to sell these prices. I'm kind of I've been selling for like day to day use, but actually I really like I really don't want to sell any Bitcoin still because I think that there's potentially like a double from here if things go in like crazy well.
Yeah. And it could. Um, it kind of already is going crazy well, but I mean, compared to, a couple years ago or a year and a half ago,
Hmm.
I mean, people probably didn't expect it to be here right now.
No, 100%. Yeah, there was always like the kind of like the Bitcoin optimists who, really believe in the project and, like, oh, it has to be worth loads, there's so many benefits. But to like the average trader or, you know, outside looker, they're probably looking at Bitcoin going, it's it's went down like 5 times in value, from like the peak, and it's kind of sitting there like it's probably just waiting for another leg down. I remember there was like one day where the price went down to it was like $150 or something.
Hmm.
Um, like that was like the last like real like bear dip.
Yeah.
Um, But obviously there's still like dips, and I think the mentality right now with dips is buy the dip, but
Yeah.
BTFD. Um, but there'll become a point where people get scared to buy the dip, or there's just not enough new money to buy the dip.
Right.
And at that point, you're going to start seeing some sort of decline, maybe even like a short-term bear trend, or just like a cool-off period, because it's gained 50% value in like the last month, which is to most would seem unsustainable.
Yeah.
This is crypto, like anything can happen,
Mhm.
like we were talking about Ripple just a wee bit earlier, and
Yeah.
yeah, like no one expected that, and it could be the exact same with Bitcoin,
Yeah.
which is the one that like really counts, because it's kind of the poster boy for like the whole cryptocurrency.
Mhm. It is. Yeah. It could happen.
Did you see? So I don't know if you know much about Zcash,
Mm.
but there is the main developer is a guy called Zuko.
Mhm.
Um, that's also his at on Twitter. He made an interesting post. I'll see if I can find it. It was about um, he could make um, he could make Zcash, which is an anonymous cryptocurrency. It uses ZK snarks to hide transactions. He was saying about making it like possible to trace transactions for like law enforcement,
Huh.
um, which is completely not what like you should
Anybody
be.
would want.
No, yeah, the reason people would use that currency, is to be anonymous.
Yeah. Wow.
He's talking about kind of eradicating it, which I don't know. I feel like I seen someone post a screenshot of it and just kind of say stop tweeting because it's killing his whole business. The
Yeah.
whole it's been in development for like 2-3 years, I think,
Mhm.
and he's coming out and saying that. I feel it's a bit risky on his end. Um, but well, I think the main reason he was discussing this is because of the rise in like ransomware asking for
Yeah.
Bitcoin recently. I don't know if you follow much of the UK news, but there was a huge hack on like our national health service.
I did. I saw that.
Yeah, and it was using how recently there was like the NSA hacking tools that were released
Mhm.
um into the wild by someone who'd hacked the NSA. Um, yeah, they'd been used to like exploit.
Yeah.
Um, which is see, I can see why people get nervous about health records. And it's probably because I don't really have anything really in my health records. But it's not the worst thing that could have been hacked. It could have
Right.
been nuclear codes, or because apparently I seen someone tweet about I think it was a guy called Crypto Cobain. He lives in the UK as well, and he was saying
Oh,
about
I know
how
him.
yeah, he's pretty well known. He actually, I think he had a band as well. Actually,
Oh, really? Was it a Nirvana cover band?
no, it was actually like I can't remember the name of them. Oh wait, uh, I'm searching. Um, it was oh wait, that's not. Uh, there's like two Jordan Fishies, I think. That's his because it says "Bring Me the Horizon," but I don't think that's his band. It's another
No.
band.
Yeah, that's another band. That's like a metalcore band or something.
Yeah, yeah, but anyway, he yeah, he was saying about how the um like our nuclear like the operating system used is actually like the same as the NHS ones, so it's kind of
Oh shit.
lucky that they weren't exploited as well.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
But we are kind of getting to that point where people are looking to get Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I think people mistakenly kind of see it as is completely anonymous, which isn't the case. Like it is still possible to track information and stuff if you really need to, but we're not at that point with tracking tools in development for them to be used effectively or like in a mainstream way. You could
Right.
probably get if you really wanted to track someone and their payments, you could probably hire like a specialist. But right now, there's not a wide range of people with those skills or software that has that ability to do it for you. But I seen there's some things actually people are working on things like that. I seen a report about Interpol have been like researching cryptocurrencies, and also I think I seen something about Bitmain developing kind of like tools and stuff to analyze the blockchain, which probably at some point would be used to track funds.
Right.
Because that's the thing, like it is possible to track funds yourself, but you need to know where to start, which means you need to have like an address.
Yeah.
I think like something that a lot of people don't realize is that you're not meant to use a Bitcoin address more than once. I definitely use it more than once because for an exchange, for example, like a lot of big exchanges, you can't generate a new deposit address, like Poloniex and I think Bittrex potentially as well. But a few other ones actually do it. I think I can't remember what exchanges do, but it's kind of the smaller ones like Cryptopia or someone
Yeah.
that allow you to like generate new addresses.
Mhm.
Because actually, like in the white papers and forum posts, like Satoshi would say, you're meant to recycle them because if they're only used for one thing, then you can't like no one will know what it was used for. Like unless like they know the value of something and they can see that that's the only transaction in that time, date, and value, but they won't be able to look at an address and say, oh, that's such and such use.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely you can make it a bit more anonymous than it is by doing that and not using the same wallet for too long.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the other thing. People don't realize that the addresses don't actually store the bitcoins. They're just like
Yeah,
a
they're a point to location kind of thing, right?
yeah, they're not actually like yeah, they're not stored in an address. So yeah, it's a bit of yeah. This is actually something I only learned like a few months ago actually. Which is pretty,
Oh,
I've always felt like I've known the technology. Well, I think I've known enough to kind of use it effectively and kind of teach or give like the rough information to a beginner or someone who wants to know how to use it.
right.
But I'm definitely just an end user,
Hmm.
an experienced end user. But yeah, I don't have any real skills, to, I'm not too clued up on like the really in-depth technical stuff. But I could probably explain, like hashing and stuff, and like from a mining aspect. But
Yeah.
some of it just goes over in my head.
It's very complicated. I mean, there's always simpler ways to say it, um, but then you're kind of missing, some of the information that would be necessary to gain a real understanding, I guess.
Yeah. There was also well, kind of still in the realms of like hacks and stuff.
Mhm.
There's been like a lot of DDoS attacks on Poloniex recently, which has kind of like
Yeah.
resulted in outages. I've actually moved like most of my coins from my like altcoin portfolio like off the exchange just as a precaution.
Same,
Um,
actually.
yeah. I think it's not. I think withdrawing all your coins isn't like it's a precaution. It's not necessarily that you think there's some bad things going on with exchange because
Exactly. Yeah.
it's unlikely. I think it's just you have to think about your own like protection here because
Yeah.
there's no such thing really as like a altcoin insurance. There's no way
Yeah.
to make a claim if they're stolen. Although like with like really like high profile cases, there is the potential to get like refunds or like if the funds are like found, like Mt. Gox and stuff. I think I read somewhere the other day that they are kind of finally getting around to processing like the remaining bitcoins
Oh,
that sell.
really?
Yeah, because for ages it was like there was like a form and stuff you could fill in to
Hmm.
claim and verify that you had coins that were stolen. I never. That was kind of just at the point I got involved in cryptocurrencies, so I never.
Same.
I think I actually had a Mt. Gox account, but I never had any like anything Bitcoin wise because I started off with like it was under like 0.01, which I think I mined like Dogecoin, and then later on it was like Max Coin.
Hmm.
So um, this was just on like a laptop I bought in 2008 with like a 2.5 gigahertz processor. Like I was making like absolute pennies for the effort I put in it, but then that's when I found trading.
Yeah.
So I actually, there's someone I was telling this recently. I actually started like trading on Blue Trade. I,
Oh,
I don't know
really?
I don't know if you know it, but it's been around for like years, and there used to be like the markets were like so illiquid there that someone managed to sell me at the time like vert coins were worth like 150,000 satoshis, and I put like really low like stink bids on there, and I got some for something like 2,000 satoshis, and
Wow. Just somebody trying to get rid of it, or?
yeah, well, I think it was kind of a popular place for miners just to dump coins, who were
Hmm.
just looking. And I think maybe just someone fat fingered it. Um, but yeah, Blue Trade, I never really heard of any other exchanges when I first started. And I think it was there I made about 0.3 Bitcoins. And that was that was like a huge success. It took me like
Yeah.
7 months or something to do. Like, which was, like every day I'd be up like researching coins, I'd be like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
seeing around, and but I just like for the amount of effort I was putting in, like the returns were ridiculous. So,
Yeah.
but
It
that's maybe the
happens.
benefit of kind of starting right from the bottom, because
Mhm.
you know you just learn so much. You feel like a lot more comfortable with it. I think it's really strange, like in my head, Bitcoin's still worth $500, and I still trade altcoins accordingly, which is maybe good because you don't have that fear. Because sometimes fear makes you make a bad trade. You get nervous and
Yeah.
like panic sell, and if you still kind of feel like that's nothing, you look at it quite logically. But then also it's like kind of scary. You'll just chuck in like $2,000-3,000 into a trade,
Yeah.
you know, which is
Or
when you're
transferring it can get nerve wracking too.
yeah, like I've got to the point where I'm like triple checking addresses now.
Yeah. You gotta make sure that you didn't like mess up your copy paste or
Yeah.
anything. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also like every few days I'll check my cold wallets, just in case something's happened, just because yeah, I think yeah, it's starting to like it's feeling a bit more real recently, like the price, but at the same time it's still like no, not at all.
Yeah. What I would do is I would like develop a wallet or something that you could kind of like send like a kind of like a message on the chain to like verify that the wallet you're sending to is the intended one,
Yeah.
like a
Hmm.
little pin ID kind of thing, just like a public like small identifier number that
Yeah.
is like tied to the public address that that like verifies it.
That's a pretty good idea, actually. Yeah, if there's anyone, who's kind of worried about things like storage and stuff and
Yeah,
making sure you mess up on like the admin side, that's definitely a good tip.
that was kind of
Yeah.
my idea that I wanted to do, where you can like even tie GPS coordinates to it, and it would piggyback off of like Google Maps, kind of like how Pokemon Go uses them to
Yeah.
know your location, and you can set waypoints, which would be like geocached wallets.
Hmm.
But
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Because
yeah,
I think the only coin that ever really hit off with a location thing was Geocoin.
mhm,
But even I'm not really sure what's happened to that coin actually. Because I thought it was like one of the kind of coins of the future, but I think that was kind of before you got things like Ethereum and Zcash and even
yeah,
like Litecoin with its they were doing like testnet Lightning transactions a few days ago, which is really crazy. I think yeah, because it's kind of became a test net for Bitcoin, and it's kind of at the point also where if they keep developing things and like being successfully able to like implement them, um, people will go, why not just use Litecoin?
yeah.
Which may be dangerous ground for Bitcoin if we can't reach a solid consensus.
Yeah.
Although something actually to note, I tweeted out a few days was that the the amount of Bitcoin Unlimited nodes reached like an all-time high. It
Well,
was at 45% of all nodes supported Bitcoin Unlimited. And as you know, if that goes over, if it goes to like over 50%, then they could hard fork, no, so like user activate a fork,
mhm,
um, and make that like the bit like Bitcoin Unlimited is like the like the foundation. Um, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the foundation code base. It wasn't the word I was looking for, but
oh,
like that's what people. If you were to download Bitcoin,
that's a
that would
version.
be that would be what you got. Because that's the other thing. Roger Ver owns Bitcoin.com,
Mhm.
so it's not out with his possibilities to completely shut off the core development and like any newcomers will instantly be on the Bitcoin Unlimited network, and I think
Oh,
that's like such a shame that we've kind of got to that point where one person can kind of control the gateway of new
yeah.
users.
I mean,
Um,
honestly, I've been on Bitcoin.com like maybe twice.
yeah, I've I think I've been on it once when they done like they done this like awful like kind of like WordPress style design on it, and it
uh,
it just looked like hideous, and there was like quite a few jokes about it. And I think that's the only time I checked it out.
that's funny.
So, what coins have you got your eye on for the next week?
Um, Bitcoin. Whatever I think will make me some Bitcoin. I just sold my Expanse, like I said, that I doubled on. Really small bag. It wasn't anything too crazy. Still holding a bit of a bag on ARC,
Oh, yeah.
just because
Were,
it hasn't hit a point where I want to sell it yet.
did you invest in the ICO?
No, no.
Oh, okay, yeah, because that was kind of one I was looking at, but at the time I forgot about it. I wasn't. There's kind of like with ICOs, there's a point in the kind of like cycle of cryptocurrency where literally any functioning ICO you buy will result in profit, and
Right.
kind of I ended up going against that and staying out of it. But kind of wish I did now actually. But then life's too short for regrets.
Yeah, that's very true. What else do we have here? Still holding some Litecoin.
Oh yeah.
I took some profit on it. I got back in when it was a little lower, um, but it's still good. I bought some Doge a little bit higher than I would have liked, but I already sold it.
Oh.
Um,
I
and
seen this really like it was a tweet I seen, and this guy got liquidated on like a margin long for Dogecoin for
mhm.
150 bitcoins.
What?
Yeah, his margin limit was 86 satoshis, and then the price went. Well, I think it was actually probably because of his position that the price went down to like 50 sats because
Yeah,
um the the platform has to um like reclaim the costs.
yeah, yeah,
Otherwise, the lender would make a loss. So
yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it was. I mean, I still have some too because I just always hold some Doge.
yeah,
But it's still good too. Like it's so cheap to send transactions. It's fast and everything. It's it just is. It's just what it is. It's
yeah.
a good
I think
form.
it's a really good one to, especially when there's a lot of unconfirmed transactions on Bitcoin. It's really good just to buy some Doge and send it across an exchange that
Yeah,
accepts it if that's where you're going. Because like generally the buy walls and sell walls are pretty even, so you're making like there's like a one Satoshi difference generally.
yeah, and it
Um,
only costs like one Doge to send a transaction.
is it that cheap? Really? Wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's like what it is.
Yeah, because there's like billions of coins, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
it's like
you could send
100.
like thousands of dollars for like 70 something satoshis.
That's mad. Because it's kind of the point where if you're doing like a large amount of Bitcoin, you need to pay like $1's worth of Bitcoin to
Yeah,
make it any sort of serious time.
I mean at the same time that's still way cheaper than like say some other kind of payment service like what's that, Western Union or anything like
Hmm.
that. Um, but it's still, or like a wire fees are more expensive than that. But it's still like a whole dollar, man. Like as a crypto person, it's like kind of hard to choke down.
Yeah, I know. It's because I remember when there was a point where you could get away with like a 5,000 Satoshi fee, and at the point that was like maybe not even a penny because the price of Bitcoin was so low.
Yeah.
I guess it's just because the system's scaling, and maybe as adopters, are like hopefully most people's like value and amount of bitcoins is increased. So actually, the fee's still kind of in proportion.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
still, yeah, I still feel though it's expensive for what should be like the next system. To like beat
Hmm.
like Visa, Mastercard, and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's another thing that could possibly result in people looking into other coins for that role. Um,
Yeah.
because people, they're like, well, that's not so off of what we're already doing, I guess, once you start talking dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we should do a bit of a special at some point on like Bitcoin contenders, like the real deals, the ones that have like recently just went over like $1 billion market caps.
That sounds like a
Are
good idea. Yeah, I like that.
you looking at any other coins in particular?
I'm waiting for Monero to kind of rebound a little bit.
Yeah. Actually, I've been looking at it thinking potentially it's a buy because it's one of the coins that made like the fewest gains um compared to like the others around it.
Right. Yeah, also Clam, like I
Oh
said
yeah,
before. I want to try to get some more clams. I was talking to our guest Matt yesterday about that, and um, if I could pull some profit out of that, that'd be cool.
Yeah, because you were saying about there's a thing where you can claim free clam with all Bitcoin wallets.
Before that were active before a certain date. I think it's like some day in 2000s. I think like May something 2015.
Oh, that's pretty cool. There's
Yeah.
quite a few kind of airdroppy things, and I've been getting involved in a few. There's like the bite ball. So basically, for every Bitcoin you held in your address, you get like 0.1 uh, gigabyte.
Huh.
There's also one
What
to
is that?
watch.
What's that like?
Um,
Got me.
so the main thing they're kind of selling, like the kind of like product, is that the blockchain should be resistant to quantum computers. Because potentially a quantum computer could guess like private keys and stuff and like take over the Bitcoin network, which um, a few people like it's kind of doubtful this would happen, and also that quantum computers would ever be in someone's hands that would have that sort of interest. There's a lot more things that people would want to use a quantum computer for.
Mhm.
Um, because they're crazy expensive. Like they're not even like it wasn't like a few years ago. Like I read that they weren't even stable. Like they couldn't run a quantum computer for more than 30 minutes without it like blowing up. So
Yeah.
we're still years away from that happening, and that's a lot of time for the Bitcoin network to mature and change potentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. There's also kind of like a side product they have called Black Bytes, which
Hmm.
are I, they're not really on a blockchain. It's kind of basically um, they're anonymous transactions because there is no record of the transactions on like a public ledger. They're just like tokens
It's
people send around.
that's interesting. How do they stand alone, like as like a?
Um, well, they're worth like fractions because they're not really like a huge. Because technically, there's no technology around them. It's basically if I like wrote a program which said send, Grim Porpoise one dealer coin. There's nothing backing it up.
Right.
Obviously they probably secured it to kind of say like, so that people can't like replicate coins out of nothing, but it doesn't actually have a blockchain on it.
Huh.
So it's interesting. It's an interesting project, and also the distribution model has been pretty interesting. So
That's something to look into.
yeah, there's another kind of coming up. So there's a project called Z Classic, which is basically Zcash but without the 20% founders fee from the mining.
Does it
And
also not have the NSA backdoor thing that he was talking about?
yeah, no, I imagine they won't be implementing that. But there's another kind of project forking from it called Zencash. So
Mhm.
basically, any Z Classic you own, you'll be given like a set of Zencash for free. So as long as there's potential for free money, but there's kind of two things to be wary of here. Like the Zencash price will probably be like pretty cheap to begin with because there's a lot of sell pressure, and
Mhm.
also B, you'll get a lot of people who buy Z Classic just for the free coins, and will sell as soon as they've received them. So to buy either of them, well, is going to be pretty risky at the beginning. So you either need to be like, fingers on the pulse, or willing to kind of hold for a while if you want to make any profit.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what have we got lined up in the next few weeks?
we got some more people coming on. I reached out to the Dogecoin community because seeing as I started from there and I'm a mod on the subreddit still, um, I figured it would be a good idea to like have some of them on and stuff, and reconnect with some of the old cronies, you know.
Oh, that
Um,
sounds good.
yeah, so we've got a couple of them who are interested in being guests. Also, I talked about him yesterday. This dude who I met, who's an IT guy, who mines bitcoins, and he's into alts too and stuff. So uh, he wants to come on. I gotta talk to him about it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for now. I think there were a couple more people from the particle community who were interested.
Oh yeah.
But I felt like we need a little break from that because there's a lot about the episodes when in your absence were particle heavy because that's the community pool that I was pulling from
Yeah.
and asking mostly. So
Yeah. That
yeah,
sounds good.
yeah, we'll find some people who are out of other communities. I at the moment I'm not really connected with any communities other than Doge or Particle, but we'll find some people. Hopefully, if any listeners are parts of other communities, feel free to hit us up and let us know.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I was just gonna say that if any listeners either want to come on the show and just talk crypto, or have any ideas of people they'd like to see on it, they should let us know either via Twitter or on the comments on wherever we post the episodes.
Yeah, then that's we also started the YouTube channel.
Yeah, go and
That's
subscribe to that.
yeah, it's we don't have a link yet. That's like YouTube/Trollbox podcast or anything because you have to have a certain amount of subscribers before you get that. But if you
Yeah.
search Trollbox podcast, it'll come up. Actually, kind of funny. I searched that and there was another video called Trollbox podcast, and I was like, but it doesn't look
Oh,
like they have anything else, and I don't think it's. I think there's like a movie called Trollbox, which is
oh, okay.
kind of weird, but I think that's what that's talking about. I don't think it's a Bitcoin one, but yeah,
Well,
it should come up
yeah, we'll tweet the links out if people were struggling to find them.
definitely. Yeah, and yeah, so this week we got 2 episodes coming out, and so why not, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, a wee bonus for the regulars.
Yeah, a little bonus, give you
Yeah,
something extra to listen to.
yeah. Just a big thanks to everyone who's followed or been listening so far. We're still kind of early in the grassroots, but you know, seeing there's a good response, that keeps the podcast going and us going to keep doing it. So
Yeah,
yeah, just thanks everyone.
yeah, we really appreciate it. And actually, the other day, the Bitcoin podcast, they're one of the, I guess, more seasoned Bitcoin podcasts, bigger one. They tweeted us saying that they'd be interested in having us on their network, once we're getting going a bit more. So that was kind of part of my drive to um, increase audio quality.
Yeah,
I am trying out a new method with these last couple episodes to make it sound more polished and whatnot. Um,
yeah.
who knows if
Sounding
it?
good on my end, like
Yeah,
you anyway. I don't know how I sound.
yeah, you sound good. You sound good. But
Thank you.
yeah, for sure. But that's really exciting. So any additional support from fans and listeners in terms of following us or uh, subscribing on YouTube would be greatly appreciated. Um, and if anybody wants to sponsor us, that's cool too. Just hit us up. We're trollboxpodcast at gmail.com. Same at Twitter, not gmail.com, but Trollbox Podcast. Uh,
There'll be one person that like searches at trollboxpodcast@gmail.com and they're like, we can't find you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think most of our listeners are probably a little bit on the technical side, so they probably know, but
Yeah.
you
I
never
hope
know.
so.
Yeah, right? I would hope so. If
Shout out
not,
to all the grannies.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's it from us, I think. Have you got anything
Yeah, I think it's
to
a
add?
good point to stop.
Mm.
Let's sign off around here. So thanks everybody for listening. It's great to have our very own dealer on here again.
Yeah, nice to be back.
Yeah, dude.
I should be around more often. I was on holiday the last few weeks, so
Yeah,
um,
kind of coincided with the beginning of our podcast, but that's okay.
sorry.
It's all good, man. You know, holidays important.
Yeah, rest. Body
Yeah,
is a temple. Yes.
yeah. I got some dental work done a week ago, so I thought I was gonna have to take a bit of a break, but I ended up kind of recovering in time, so that worked. That worked out nicely.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. See you guys next week.
See you guys next week, and happy trading and profits to all.
Great.
Peace out.
Peace.